Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Rustabout Collector here, and today we're doing a little haul unboxing. This is like a combination of multiple hauls slapped into one video just because I wanted to talk about some fun updates to the collection, and it's just one of those fun videos that some of you had requested seeing more of in the past. I don't really record every single haul that I get in, but it's nice to mix things up and have this. And it's also a good update to one of my previous videos. I'll tag it up here, but it was the top toys I'm looking for in 2022. And I'm really surprised how many got knocked off that list very quickly. I didn't intend for it to be that way. It just kind of happened by happenstance that there were deals that popped up, and I, of course, did not hesitate to jump on those. Now, first up, of course, you probably already guessed it, this Phase 2 Clone Wars Trooper is one of the items that was on my list. This is actually one of a couple that I got, and I'm only showing one just because it's here, but this is a sealed one. I did not have to pay the ridiculous like $90 on eBay that these typically go for. It's hard to believe that like 3 years ago, 2 years ago even, these were $10 a piece. Usually loose, but you could get these for $10. And I'm really bummed that I didn't jump on these sooner, because I would have bought at least a dozen, maybe 2 dozen to make customs of, because they never really repainted this mold, and I would love to have enough to do some 212th, some 501st, and maybe even some customs of my own Legion, in a Clone Wars animated style. But it's what it is. There's no time machine, unfortunately, and I'm very grateful that I got a couple more of these for the collection, and yeah, even a sealed one, which is really nice to see. I did actually get 2 sealed, so one is going to stay sealed just for my collection's sake. I'm not a huge new in box collector, but occasionally it's nice to have one carded version for the collection, and this is one that's just so cool, so iconic, that it's really hard to say no to keeping one carded when it's got that classic early 2000s packaging, some great artwork, and yeah, there's so much nostalgia with this card back and with this particular character that I have to keep one carded. Moving on from there, I've actually gotten 2 more army builders so far. These, along with the other army builders in my, what I'm looking for in 2022 video, I'm really not concerned about how many I get. Eventually, I'll probably get to a point where I'm comfortable not picking up any more unless like a really good deal pops up. But I wanted more of these yellow bark troopers for my Tushy Choi Legion. There's really no name. Supposedly, these guys are part of like a subdivision of the 327th. We can go with that. I really don't care. I just think they look cool. And so I got 2 more of these. These are the weapons that they came with in the lot that I bought. Getting 2 of these is very nice right off the bat of 2022, and hopefully I can follow that up with some Kashyyyk Troopers, the Order 66 Kashyyyk Troopers, because those guys are proving very hard to find lately, at least for a decent price. And yeah, I haven't had any luck adding more of those to my collection probably for the last 6 months, and that's kind of a bummer, because those are like my main army build, like I talked about in that previous video. So hopefully that changes. Hopefully I can find maybe even like somebody selling a lot of them and, actually just do it all in one fell swoop, because I like buying in bulk. You get usually a cheaper price when you buy lots of figures, and that's just nice. Like, for instance, these Phase 2 Clone Troopers that I actually got those in a lot, and that's how I was able to buy them for less than like the crazy prices on eBay right now. Because when you buy them in a lot, sometimes people don't even notice that they're in the lot. Every now and then you will find a deal like that, and when you do, you can get figures like this for old prices, for the prices that they went for, 5-10 years ago, which is really cool. Again, that's very rare, so if you see videos where people are buying a bunch of clone troopers or figures that you really like, just know probably they paid some sort of premium for them to some degree or another, unless they got very, very lucky. It's just very unpredictable, and don't always believe what you see online. Next up, though, we have this guy, the ARC Trooper Heavy Gunner from the Tartakovsky Clone Wars, the 2003 and 4 version. I absolutely love this figure. It was one that I needed for my Tartakovsky line, since I've been trying to do every Tartakovsky figure ever and have like a collection of them all on a shelf, because it's my favorite Clone Wars. And yeah, this is one I needed, so I finally got him here. He has the removable helmet, which I just think is so cool, revealing a Tamora Morrison head sculpt. And yeah, it's also cool just because you got a removable ATRT helmet. Like, for customs and stuff, that's a really cool feature to have. I'm sure plenty of people have actually used this for customs, just this head sculpt at least. But yeah, it's a really cool figure. The really awesome cannon here that you can pop his hands off of. just like so, and it can actually fold up and go onto his back. Not terribly well, but you know, it works for having like a play feature like in the show where it slides over his chest and then he just starts blasting with it. It's a really awesome weapon there. Extremely over the top and impractical, which I love, but you know, it just has that early 2000s flair to it. You know, it's feels like something you'd get with a G.I. Joe maybe. It doesn't feel very Star Wars, and I'm okay with that. It just is over the top and ridiculous and impractical and awesome. And next up, the second to last grouping that I got. This is probably a grail for me, honestly, to finally have all three, wait for it, all three of the Tartakovsky Jedi from the 2003 Clone Wars as well. The live-action version, where they've kind of translated the cartoon from 2D into sort of a realistic blend, I suppose. This grouping of Jedi is just so awesome. Now, I'm definitely partial to these two here because they are unique molds. This is surprisingly just a Power of the Force figure. Actually, a Kenner Power of the Force. I forget what the guy's name is, but he's from the Cantina. They've just taken that character and they've remolded it here into a Jedi by giving him a cloak. So this is like a rubberized cloak that presumably gets slipped onto the body during production. And then these boots are actually removable. So you can see there's a split down the back. You can pop these open and actually remove his oversized clumpy boots. And right there is just a normal foot, you know? So they've actually reused it, which is cool, but also kind of disappointing just because from a articulation standpoint, it's not very good for the time that this was released. It's, you know, pretty much 5 POA. You have the swivel here, you have a swivel at this arm, a swivel at this elbow, and also I don't have his lightsaber. I think he just had like a generic lightsaber, but neither of his hands can hold a lightsaber. You can see there that is a massive like gripping hand for a cup because he was in the cantina, and then this hand was just, you know, gesturing. So you can kind of like wedge a lightsaber in there between his thumb and hand, but it's not really made for holding a lightsaber, surprisingly. So I might have to like rubber band one into his hand or something. It's still great to have him as an action figure. Like I always loved this Jedi from the Clone Wars, but yeah, it's not the best reuse that I've ever seen. Let's put it that way. Then we've got this guy. I think his name is Roran Cobb. I can never remember their names. I just remember Hammerhead Jedi, Tall's Jedi, and Wolfman Jedi. That's how I remembered them from the Clone Wars. But this is all new sculpt. So I mean, you got the swivel head here. You've got the swivel elbows, allowing him to get the lightsaber gripped with two hands. He's actually got articulated knees. And like the molded tunic here allows him to get his legs forward a little bit. It's just cool. Like just having more unique Jedi that aren't just generic humans, because a lot of the Jedi that got made as, you know, generic Jedi were just humans. I like having alien Jedi. It really mixes up your collection. They look great on the shelf together, and it just is, it's neat, you know? I like, the Star Wars is all about the aliens and the weirdness of it all, so having some weird Jedi is cool, but it's also nostalgic because they're from the 2003 Clone Wars. One of the really neat things with this figure in particular, though, is that he has a unique lightsaber hilt, and I'm hoping that will focus. I'll give you all a nice close-up on that. It's actually a cast metal lightsaber hilt. That's something that they did in the really early 2000s, like 2002, 2003. I think Obi-Wan Kenobi had one, maybe Count Dooku. And of course the lightsaber blade is removable. It's a little, you know, insert peg there, but the hilt itself is metal and it's so shiny, it looks amazing. And honestly, I think I've only ever had like 2 in all of my years of collecting that were metal like this. It feels super premium for a 3 3/4 inch kid's toy back in the day. Like, this is before it was really all about collecting like it is today. Like, this was just a toy that kids might pick up, and the lightsaber hilt was made out of metal. It's really cool. I just think that's the neatest little thing. They didn't really do that with many Jedi, and it's odd that they did it with this guy, a kind of unknown Jedi from a cartoon, rather than, you know, somebody like Obi-Wan Kenobi, which they did, but like, it's weird that they went ahead and did this and not like maybe an Aayla Secura or, you know, any of those Jedi that are just a little bit more well-known than an obscure cartoon character. And then finally, for all these 3 Jedi, we have this guy, Wolfman, or as he's named in the Star Wars universe, Vulvith Mon. It's, you know, obviously a play on words, a slight misspelling to pay homage to it being Wolfman. It's Wolfman from the classic Paramount movies, you know, the really old 1940s and 50s black and white Wolfman. You can definitely see that in the way that his face is shaped, that's where the inspiration came from. And I think that is really awesome. Like, I grew up with some of those movies. I remember watching like the Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein movie back in the day, and you know, it's cool to have a little callback to classic cinema in that way in this character. And if I'm not mistaken, this was actually a fan-voted character. There was some sort of maybe website vote, or, you know, this was in the days before like Twitter and stuff, but there was some sort of fan vote, and the fans voted for a Wolfman character, I'm pretty sure. And so he showed up in the show briefly, like raising his fist in the air as I think he was saved, like he was surrounded by droids and then he gets saved or something like that. But, oh yeah, and he has a ball-jointed head that really is not very useful because of his head sculpt, but you can kind of get his head off to an angle, which is great. But anyways, it's just a fun design. I absolutely love having this figure in the collection now. He's got like the armor plating on his shoulder and his forearm, which is very reminiscent of what we got in like 2008 Clone Wars, where they had clone armor integrated into their Jedi robes. And just overall, it's a really unique Jedi. I love it. And of course, these guys are going to go on the Tartakovsky shelf. However, it'd be also pretty fun to put them with their own clone legions, like, you know, maybe putting Volvith Mon as the leader of the 442nd, because we never really got to see those guys in any Star Wars material, and so maybe he's the Jedi commander for that legion or something, you know, something fun like that, some headcanon. It might make for some cool toy photography, but either way, Volvith Mon, everyone. What a cool figure. What a wacky, cool figure. And then finally, rounding out this, you know, I guess best of 2022 already haul. You know, this one was one I did not expect to get this year. I really did not, but I am so very glad that I did. And it's Delta Squad. It's the better version of Delta Squad. I got the Toys R Us exclusive version, which had the more articulated body mold, and just overall, the detail on these is exceptional. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get these guys to all stand up, but I've got them all four of them, and they are amazing. I am so glad that I got these, because compared to their old versions, which I will be keeping, of course, I'll keep both squads just because, these just are a step up. You know, just as an example here, this is the old Scorch. He has the swivel shoulders, and, you know, the arm articulation's the same, ball-jointed head, swivel hips, but no knees, no ankles, and those are like the three biggest things that we got improved with this new mold that they then never reused out of, I think everyone's surprised. They just did not use this mold again. But it has the swivel hips, it has knee joints, it has ankle joints, and it has shoulder joints. So now you can actually kind of like pop that shoulder pad under the torso and get a pretty much a 90-degree articulation on that shoulder. It's awesome. It's so good. It's great for toy photography. It's great for more dynamic poses on your shelf. You can kind of see I was playing around with some cool poses for these guys that, you know, if you put a stand on their feet, that'll allow them to balance, and you could have some really cool action poses on your shelf. And again, toy photography, whatever, it just has so much potential. Now, one of the things I really didn't notice until getting these in hand was just how much was actually different in terms of paint apps with these figures. So first of all, the colors are shifted just a little bit. Like, you can definitely see a drastic color change between old Scorch and new Scorch. This one is a little bit more black. This one's a little bit more bluish gray. I don't think that's a big deal. The weathering, though, on old Scorch, I think might be a touch better, especially on the head. That just kind of looks like, I don't know, weird patterning almost instead of weathering, whereas here it's more like mud stains and blast effects. So some of the weathering on the new ones is a little bit less quality, but it's still awesome to have the articulation. And also on the new one, disappointingly, he doesn't have the molded leg to allow for this det pack here. So that's kind of a disappointment. They painted the strap, but they didn't actually give him a unique leg. Again, probably comes down to cost for this being an exclusive pack, but it's a bummer. One thing that is really cool with these figures, though, are the weapons. They are cast in an all-black plastic, and then they're actually weathered with silver dry brush, which we never got before. And even more impressively, they actually painted those little white markings on Scorch's like grenade launcher. So very good detail on the weapons, which is usually where everything is just left, you know, all the details on the figure, and then they just give you like a cast plastic weapon. these are actually painted and detailed, which it really impressed me. And I think with Fixer, though the color might be more game accurate on this new one, I actually like the darker green on the old one. And what I really, really liked on the old ones was the black edge lining here for the visor. It just helped that blue pop out all the more. On the new ones, it's missing, and that's okay. Like, I'm not tearing these apart by any means. They're really cool. It's just some curious variations between each version of these, and that's why I'm keeping both, because I think they both have their merits and they both look awesome. But I'm so glad to have these. This was definitely like the top grail for 2022. I'm not sure how we're going to top that the rest of the year, but that's okay. You know, it's good. It's a good way to start out the year, having pretty much the big hitters on that video list that I made earlier, pretty much knocking all of those out, because the 3 Jedi and the Delta Squad was really high on the list, and then everything else was pretty much like, you know, army builders, like the clone troopers, the Phase 2 Clone Wars clones, you know, just army builders was pretty much the rest of the list, and, you know, classified G.I. Joe, stuff like that. So very generic stuff that I can pick up any time throughout the year is what's left, and my grails, I feel like they're pretty well knocked out. So I guess maybe I got to find some new grails after this, because what am I going to toy hunt in 2022? But no, I'm actually extremely happy with where the collection is now that I have these. I don't feel like there's any outstanding figure that just needs to be in the collection now. These were some of the last ones. If I get more army builders, great. If I don't, I'm still pretty happy with where those armies are at. If I don't get any more big sets, that's okay too. This is good. I'm very pleased with this. And yeah, there's actually something to be said for just enjoying your collection for what it is and just being content with what you have. And I think it's pretty easy with collecting to get carried away and just buy everything that looks cool or buy everything that's been hyped up by other collectors. I try to check in with myself when I'm, you know, wanting new figures and just make sure that I want them for the right reasons. These are all very nostalgic for me. Having this pretty much rounds out my 3 3/4 inch collection, apart from just army builders at this point. So I'm happy with that. You know, I'll probably get some more Jedi here and there if I find them for a good price, just to be like custom Jedi generals for different army builds. And I'll still be trying to get the rest of the Tartakovsky line, of course, because there are a couple more that I needed. But in terms of like big grails, like ones that I really wanted, these 3 Jedi, the articulated Delta Squad, which oh, that's a domino effect right there. But, you know, that's pretty much the big hitters right now. I've got the Tartakovsky gunship, which was another one from last year. And overall, I'm just pretty pleased with that. So I wanted to make this video. I wanted to show this haul off and just talk about how that video that I made before about what I was looking for in 2022 really ended fast. The hunt is over, apart from the army builds. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe there'll be something that'll come up and I'll be like, oh, you know, I should try and get that for a good price. But until then, I'm happy with this little pile of clone troopers that, you know, domino affected into this. But yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. As always, there's a link down in the description to my Instagram. If you want to check out my toy photography over there, I also post updates when new toys are releasing from Hasbro and all those different brands. It's also just a good place to, you know, hang out. You know, I interact more over there than I do on YouTube generally, so if you want to follow me over there, do so. But until next time, have a wonderful evening, noon, or night, depending on when you're watching, and as always, I will catch you all in the next video.